Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll spend some time to go through this interesting US presidential elections for 2024. Okay. So there is a speculation already that Joe Biden might step down, and that results we will know in the upcoming week. And then there has been a recent assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So I want to review those events first, and then we'll go into the election results itself and see how we can use astrology techniques to predict that. Okay. So we'll review both the charts. We'll start with Donald Trump's chart and then go into Joe Biden's chart and see what's going on in his life. Okay. So normally, first thing I always do is check what is going on in terms of the Dasha and Bhukti. Okay. So for Donald Trump, we are in the Jupiter Sun period at the moment. Okay. So we have to understand the agendas of these two planets. Already Jupiter is an exceptionally important planet for Leo ascendant because he bolsters their path. Okay, so I described that in another video recording, which I'll be uploading very soon. You can review that. Okay, so Jupiter is extremely important planet. Mars is already creating the Raj Yoga. Sun, who is the Bhukti Lord, disposits the Raj Yoga Karaka Mars. Okay, so he's extremely important. He's the ascendant Lord as well. All right. Then Mars is the Atmakaraka as well. Okay. The nice thing is from the Dasha Lord Jupiter, Sun is placed in the ninth, which is a trine, which is very good. Sun himself is in an excellent placement because he's in the 11th house. Okay. And he's conjunct Rahu, so that's only going to make Sun Rahu conjunction even more charismatic and dynamic as a personality, that I've already discussed in another video, which you can listen next. But when it comes to the current Dasha and Bhukti, this is an excellent placement. Okay, so why is it that important? Anytime we get the Sun and the Moon in the 11th, it's extremely powerful for titles and authority. Okay, so it's an extremely nice placement when you're going into some fights such as elections and against a strong opponent, or it's going to just make things more nice. Okay, then Mars himself is extremely strong because he's in a very strong placement in the natural friend sign. Okay, not only is he creating the Raj Yoga, he's in a very powerful placement. Then the good news is also that Dasha Lord is aspecting the ascendant and manifesting it, okay, by Gemini aspects. And then we have Mars aspecting the Dasha Lord as well. Okay, it's a mutual aspect, it's extremely powerful. There is some connections to that which I will not get into the details why this is very important, but you can review my courses for that for more details on that. Okay, then the other nice thing that is going on is the 11th house of titles is very powerful now from a transit point of view because Jupiter is transiting in that house. There is Guru Bala in the 11th house for titles and authority and power. Okay, so that's even nice. All right. So from a Dasha Bhukti point of view, when it comes to his presidential race and whether he would have contested or not, there were so many speculations and such, right? But just looking at this, there was no way we could have denied that. Okay, so many powerful factors will only make it only just a matter of time before it all lines up. Okay, I'll go through this from the cards point of view and you'll see why it all lines up even better for him. Okay, so from a Dasha Bhakti point of view, yes, it's very powerful. So there is a strong possibility that we can see for him who could get into power again on Jan 20th. Okay, but something interesting happened now, which is there was an assassination attempt on 13th of July. Okay, so these planets, which are Jupiter and the Sun, right, those two planets are the ones that are still running, right? So we have to now understand how this assassination attempt could have happened in the same agenda of these two planets, okay, even though they are very powerful, right? So for beginners, Jupiter is an extremely tricky planet for Leo ascendant, okay? One, he rules the 8th house, okay? This is the house of uncertainty, it's the house of death, it's the house of loss, okay? But for a Leo ascendant, it is ruled by a benefic planet, so it's not going to be something always that pulls the rug under their feet because it's a Jupiterian connection, okay? And Jupiter in his chart is starved. It's not a perfect dasha lord. He's really in a difficult placement. The ruler of Jupiter, Venus, is also starved, okay? So that is because Venus is in a Trishita Avashta here, okay? Venus is starved by Saturn and the Moon in this conjunction. And then Jupiter is in a Shuddhita Avashta, starved by Venus, all right? So the Dasha Lord is also in a difficult house because the third house is a house which can create death, all right? These are some advanced concepts, but it is a house that can bring death, okay? So that we have to understand because even by Bhavat Bhavam it is 8th from the 8th house, okay? And the natural indications of the sign Gemini, okay, is it is a sign that can naturally cause death, okay? So third house is always under the flavor of Gemini and that can bring death, okay? And interestingly, the Bhukti Lord Sun himself is in the sign of Gemini with Rahu, of course, another malefic which can induce that connection to death, okay? But see what is happening, all right? So Jupiter and Sun are on trines to each other, okay? Then the time period that he is in, all right, Jupiter is transiting in the 11th house, which I will show. Okay, so you can see Jupiter is in the 11th house, which is a very powerful placement in general for protecting anything, okay? And Jupiter is transiting over the ascendant lord. It's not an exact conjunction, but he's transiting on the ascendant lord, okay? So there is power and manifestation to the ascendant. There is protection to the ascendant, okay? So several years ago, I think 6-7 years ago, again, when I was discussing his chart, this transit of Saturn, I was always skeptical about this, okay? Because now, I think he's what, 78 years old, okay? So it's not that he's any young, right? We know that it's a possibility he can die, all right? It's a longevity transit that we are seeing with respect to Saturn. Okay, so this transit of Saturn, I was skeptical that he might, pass away in this window because of some ailment or illness. Okay, but one thing we have to always keep in mind with respect to all these high profile cases and, people like presidents, especially with the history of, American presidency, so many people have been assassinated. This was already a clue for us. Okay, we should have really paid attention, which I never bothered because I am least but interested in political things. But it was a clue that was there, okay? And you can see on 13th of July 2024, this is the exact time when the assassination attempt was there, okay? So Saturn exactly is within the 3-degree orb of the 8th cusp, okay? So it's almost a conjunction, you can say, because the 8th cusp is at 16-degree orb and the transiting Saturn is at 19 degrees. It's very close conjunction to the 8th cusp. This is a longevity transit, okay? This is a death-inflicting transit of Saturn, all right? But there is something else going on here which is very interesting, which we will get to Saturn in a bit, okay? But just this would not do it, all right? For a Leo ascendant, Mercury is the primary Maraka planet, okay, along with Saturn, because Saturn also rules the 7th house. But when Saturn and Mercury are conjunct, okay, Saturn becomes a strong Maraka, all right? So that we are seeing, it's a weak Saturn, it's a weak Mercury. Why Saturn is weak? Saturn is in a Trishita Avashta, all right, is in the Shuddhita as well because he's in the enemy sign of the moon, Okay, it's a very sad Saturn placement year. Then Mercury is weak because Mercury is starved by Saturn, and Mercury himself is in an enemy sign, which is that of the moon. Okay, so the good news is Moon himself is in a decent placement. He's on a trine, all right, and he's also in the third placement from the Dasha Lord, not too bad, okay, and he's in the sign of the Dasha Lord, okay. So it's not that severe because it's ruled by Jupiter, okay. Jupiter normally averts all these possibilities, all right, of whatever is worse to come, it will always be mitigated by Jupiter, okay. Just that wouldn't do it. So many other factors are helping, which I already explained, okay. Now, the transit wise, you see what is interesting that day. The primary Maraka Mercury is exactly conjunct the ascendant. Okay, this is the rectification of his chart that I had done 6-7 years ago. Okay, and then people were speculating that time when he ran for presidency the first time that he was a Virgo ascendant. I completely ruled that out, and I said he was a Leo ascendant. I had all my complete analysis about his chart, with including his mentality, the psychology, and everything. Okay, just by his behavior, observing how he spoke and how he was dealing with the media, I had rectified this ascendant to be Leo. And there are many other reasons for that. Okay, I think I explained most of it in my next videos about his chart. All right, but you can see this now has a confluence for our rectification. Okay, that Mercury exactly crossing the ascendant causes the Maraka transit. Okay, and Saturn is close to the 8th cusp here. So with Saturn and Jupiter, we have to always keep in mind that within 3-degree orb of the cusp, they can always trigger the events very strongly because they are slow-moving planets. Okay. Now, on that day, you can also see Sun, the ascendant lord, is exactly conjuncting Saturn, the planet of death. Okay, and we have the 12th house transit of Sun going on. Again, it's a Dusthana. Okay, he was hospitalized. There was a lot of blood loss. 12th house is hospitals, and then he was treated. Okay, Sun Saturn conjunction brings a health transit for him. Okay, the ascendant lord hitting the D30 Karaka, which is Saturn. Okay, and of course Saturn is also the 6th cusp lord of accidents here in this D1 chart. And then looking at his Trimshamsha, we can see that the ascendant is Mercury, and again Mercury crossing the ascendant in the transit brings a D30 transit for him. Okay, and the main cause for all of that, of course, is that Sun also conjuncting Saturn. Okay, because Sun is the ascendant lord of D1 and Saturn is the Karaka for the D30, and Saturn actually is also the 8th cusp lord of longevity and fatalities here. Okay, so it's an exact analysis. You can see there is no surprises, no coincidences here. We are all talking about exact date, exact analysis. Okay, but could have been predicted? Yes, we could have easily predicted this. Okay, it's easy to tell now. Oh, after the assassination attempt, you're discussing the chart. No, this was already highlighted, but we did not mention it was an assassination attempt. It's definitely a longevity transit. Okay, so that was every one of us, any astrologer who knew the advanced skills and techniques should have predicted this for sure. Okay, knowing that this is coming. All right. So from transit's point of view, it's clear. From the dasha point of view, it is clear. Okay, why the Sun Bhukti though? All right, why the Sun Bhukti that gave the assassination attempt? All right, Sun of course is with the malefic, but Sun has an agenda for the body. Okay, because Sun is the ruler of the ascendant. Okay, and Sun rules the Atma Karaka Mars, and Mars is the Karaka for all these kind of accidents and fatalities. Okay, so that's there. Then Sun aspects the 8th cusp. That's again an advanced, Gemini technique. All right, if you look at it, then another interesting thing is Sun is in the Mrigashira nakshatra of Mars. Mars is the ruler of that nakshatra. Okay, so that activates Mars to cause these problems. And more importantly, the ruler of the sun is in the 12th house, okay, of difficulties, and he's starved by Saturn. But he's also protected by Venus, which is helping Mercury, okay, and 12th house is hospitalizations, all right. So what we can see here is that the agenda of the sun is mixed. He can give titles and power, but he can also cause some problems for the body, and he can also get into trouble with the law because, of course, there was some issues with the litigation and all those court cases. Mercury is that weak, you can see, the ruler of the sun, constantly struggling, okay. And then the sixth cusp Lord Saturn is involved for the court cases, okay. Whenever you get Saturn or Mercury connected to the sixth and they're conjunct, you can imagine that it's only going to get worse with the court cases. And if it is connected to the 12th, it's only going to bring more expenses and losses, okay. There is no doubt about that. You can be very 100% sure, especially if it is in a severe starved avastas, Shudita avastas like this, and Trishita avastas like this, you can be 100% sure, okay. All right, so we know the sun has this agenda, and is it going to be easy for him to get away? Not necessarily, because now he has the luck of Jupiter manifesting the 11th, and previously there was the luck of Jupiter when he was transiting in the 10th, okay, where he really got away with most of those cases, and he was put back into the presidential race when Jupiter moved into the 11th. So these two things are his support and his blessing now. Of course, because why Jupiter? Remember, I talked about this in the recent analysis on the transits. Why Jupiter is so important now? Jupiter is always important when we are looking at the Guru Bala, okay? But why Jupiter is so important for Donald Trump, okay? You have to think, this is the key message here, right? He's the Dasha Lord, okay? We are looking at the Dasha Lord in transit here, all right? So wherever he's transiting is where the focus will be for him. So you cannot miss that point at all for him. First thing is, it's an important planet for US, and then on top of that, we are really paying attention to the Dasha Lord, okay? So yes, there is luck on his side at the moment, but when Jupiter moves into the 12th, when he's exalted, there could be, some difficulties because it's the natural 12th house, and he'll be opposing the 6th cusp as well, right? All those kind of things. So yeah, the future looks to be a bit different than what is in the cards now for him, okay? So that's a story for another day, but something to really note down here, all right? So we know that the agenda is certainly there, all right? So what's the plan going into the elections? Whether he'll win or not, we'll have to go through some more details for that, okay? So that I will cover through the cards as well as the transits, but we'll examine the cards for the day of the assassination attempt and then go into that, okay? So it's the 78th year quadration, okay? This attempt happened just around his birthday, just after his birthday. In that first 52 days, the sun card is running, okay? The year card is 8 of hearts, all right? And in the 7-year progression, the 78th year is a 6 of clubs on the moon. He's running the moon card with the 10th cusp there, okay? So we always have to start with the 7-year progression. So the 78th year looks very nice. Why? 6s do great on the moon, and moon himself is in the Venus card. He's in a fantastic placement, okay? He's delighted by Jupiter, is conjunct Mars. So this is a super powerful conjunction, Jupiter, Mars and the moon. I'll not get into the details, okay? You can review my courses for all those details, all right? And Venus is also protecting that card. Venus is manifesting this card. Venus hurts Jupiter for sure, and is going to hurt the moon, okay? But Venus will make Mars extremely passionate, and more importantly, this card is an 8 of diamonds. Perfect. Nothing can get better than this, okay? First thing, it's a great Venus card. Venus is really powerful already there. 8 of diamonds in the stage in nature, it shows that the seed that has fallen from the tree, okay? This is again the land and the minerals on that, the 8 of diamonds, okay? the seeds just are splattered and spread across everywhere. Okay, but among so many different possibilities, at least one seed will survive. Okay, so that one seed will get enough nutrition, sunlight, air, humidity will be perfect, and it will go on to become the next generation of plants. Okay, so it is a sort of a spectacle and a miracle card, this eight of diamonds. It's a perfect card for things just lining up at the right time at the right place. Okay, and it has to be, of course, backed up by the planets, and the planets are even more powerful than the card itself here. Okay, so the 78th year looks to be perfectly lined up for him for his presidential run. Okay, even better than the 77th year. 77th year, he went through a lot of problems until June 2023 to June 2024. It's not a perfect sun card, you see. This is a Saturn Mercury conjunction. Mercury is severely starved, Saturn is starved. Okay, then we have the sun himself in a neutral placement. Sun is conjunct Rahu. Okay, still a powerful face card. The sun himself is protecting and managing this, but the card of the sun is weak. Okay, whereas the 78th year card is not like that. It's even more powerful than the sun card, and the 10th cusp is there. Okay, which is one of the most important cusps for a man, especially who is seeking power and authority. Okay, and it is connected to the Queen of Clubs, a very powerful position. This is a card that can bring power and authority. Okay, and he is going to be very busy with media and communication this whole year. Okay, and that was seen. So many debates, so many conventions, and so many campaigns so across the country, right? All right. The good news about the Six of Clubs, especially because it's that powerful, is that it can give spotlight, it can give attention, it can give, the real success in work. It's a Venus card, and Venus is that powerful to deliver that. Okay. And of course, Jupiter himself is the 10 of Clubs, which brings success from all the hard work, and it completes a cycle and gives, the fruits of the labor. Okay. Mars is a tough card in this whole spread. All right. But Mars is decent here because Mars is passionate by Venus, and Mars is supported by the moon. Mars is supported by Jupiter. Even though Mars is weak as a card, Mars is getting all the support that he can get through all these other planets. Okay. So the 79th year, which means the second year of his presidency, can be a bit challenging, especially with, the things that he has to really do and get it done, and how he might, get into some conflicts with other countries and diplomacy and such. Okay, especially Mars is the fighting planet. Okay, those things. But the rest looks to be pretty well placed. Okay, it's a very powerful spread for the 7-year progression overall. Right, except when you go into the 83rd year, there is some interesting things that is lined up here with the King of Spades. Okay, so King of Spade, of course, was already active in the 77th year, right? Because Saturn, who rules the King of Spade, is in the 8 of Hearts. Kings energized the 8s. Okay, Saturn was weak, and then he got into trouble with all the law and authority. Many lawyers, judge, all these people were part of his life. That is the King of Spade, and he had to really overcome and face all these obstacles. Of course, this King of Spade can get activated again on 83rd year. This again could be some major issues and health crisis and all of that. But what we are seeing here is that the spread looks to be so far so good and decent. Okay, so Neptune is also there. Neptune is the one card that is bringing a bit of stress and some reorganizational things into this 82nd year and as well as the 678 year influence. Okay, so 5 of Clubs is a stressor for him on the 78 as well as the 82nd year. Okay, this will bring some changes. Of course, he's known for making constant changes and firing people in his cabinet whenever he has people in, right? So all those things, and constantly having to deal with all the debates and the people attacking him, getting into litigations and fights with the media, all that is going to continue. There is nothing that might change. Okay, one thing, as a personality, I don't think anything has changed from his last two elections to now. All right, because these people, they will never change, and for that I will explain all of that going into the next video. You can listen. All right, so we'll have to only see how the cards will back him up. Okay, as a rule of thumb, you can know that nobody changes overall in life. It's very rare people change. Okay, that's why we have a saying in general that people who are born with certain qualities and certain attributes, that is their karmic merit, that is their bank balance in their karma, and that is embedded into that. Okay, if you have to change, you have to do some really high levels of sadhana, meditation, and conscious and conscientious action has to be in place, which all human beings will struggle, not only Donald Trump. Okay, so some personalities, it's even very difficult to make them change, and Donald Trump unfortunately falls into one of those personalities. So we just have to hope, even Americans, they have to really hope that the circumstances will change at least. If the person doesn't change, the circumstances will change. The circumstances are better, then the country can be on the forefront again. Okay, that's all we can hope. So sometimes, this Eight of Diamond, those kind of things are very good to get overall in the context of greater things, because things will just fall into place. Okay, see, there are situations, you can see, like in the wave in the ocean, the boat or the ship is what the person is trying to get to the shore. Okay, they are really trying to sail across from one side of the ocean to the other. Okay, but along with that ship, there will be pebbles, dust, debris, everything that collects and comes with that ship through those waves. Okay, so sometimes when people don't act, okay, the circumstances are like that wave that pushes all the debris and everything, and they'll be at the right time at the right place to just land on the shore. Okay, that does not mean that they have done anything about it. Okay, so I believe that the circumstances are at least much better. I have not checked the other presidential run when he had with the 7-year progression, but the circumstances certainly are better, except for that one tough 79th year part, and also the 80th year. There is a bit of connection to the King of Spade, and also the 77th year, there is a feed forward and a feedback effect going on here. Okay, so I feel this can be a bit challenging, these 2 years for him. Okay, especially this year, something going on with a woman, or also with the native, a home country. There could be some trouble, health concerns and litigation. All those things might be coming up here. Okay, and we know there is already some rumors that his wife might divorce him, current wife, right? So all those things are going on. The ninth cusp of marriage is there. So we'll see how those things pan out for him. Okay, but the overall context of things are just lining up pretty decently for him. We can see, just as a quick glance in the 7-year progression, things look much better. Okay, so that's what has happened in a grand context of things. Now, looking at what's coming up for the assassination attempt, that was the Two of Hearts window. Okay, and it's the Eight of Hearts card that is running. So Eight of Hearts is important because it is the Sun card of the 77th year. So this year, the 78th year quadration is extremely important for him, because this is the Sun card of the 77th year in the progression. This is a year of his life which is very relevant to his career and his power and authority, which is the Sun. Okay, and remember, the Sun rules the Atmakaraka in the birth spread, so it's an extremely critical card. Okay, so Rahu is the Two of Hearts in his birth spread, and it is getting activated through the Sun. Okay, that of course always makes him extremely charismatic. He gets more attention with this. All right, the Sun Rahu conjunction is just bolstered, you can say here. It's the assassination attempt has just created a wave of new support, you can say, out of sympathy that will also be moved. All right, that's something that already goes on. And Two of Hearts on the Sun this year promises a very new start, because this occurs with an Ace of Clubs. Okay, Ace of Clubs is a new start of new things, new ideas, and new creative ventures that can come with this. And for him is, in a political sphere, so it's a new start for him. And this is the window where he announces that he's going to run for the presidency. Now, Republicans choose him because there is no choice for them left. Okay, so he runs, and there's a beautiful card on the sun. Okay, sun himself is great. Once again, delighted by the moon, delighted by Jupiter. It's a powerful Avashta year. Mercury is also there, creating some support, manifesting the Queen of Hearts. Okay, so Queen of Hearts are another face card. Okay, where again, Queen of Hearts shows the home country. Okay, how people are in support for you, how they like you. Okay, these two face cards, the Queen of Hearts and the King of Hearts, is extremely important. Okay, how much people love you and why they love you, these two cards will dictate that. Okay, especially for people in the public arena and in celebrities and all of that, if they have these kind of cards running for them, so it's extremely powerful. Okay, all the higher numbers of the kings and the queens, okay, so they're very powerful, you can say, in a greater context. Of course, it has to be backed up by the yogas and the planets and everything. Just don't go with my word about that, but there is some connection to that we can see in this year for him. Okay, it's a great year overall. You see, 2 of Hearts on the sun, very powerful. 6 of Hearts on the moon, great, no problems. 10 of Hearts on Mars, fantastic. With an 8 of Clubs, even more powerful there. It's a fixed card on Rahu. It's super powerful this year for him. Okay, and Mars is the Atmakaraka. 8 of Clubs on Mars is only going to make things very swift and fast. And some important events are coming up here from 26th September 2024 to 17th of November 2024. Okay, Mars is in a tough card. Okay, Mars is in a Venus card. It's not a bad position for Mars, but Mars is in a 7 of Spade with the 10th cusp there. Okay, so this is a tough one. Maybe it's going to create some upsets here, or it can trigger some health issues, or he's going to run out of steam at some stage in the 7 of Spades. Okay, so this is the time when the elections are coming up, right? Between September 26th until 17th of November 2024. This is when the election actually happens. 10 of Hearts here is looking fine. Okay, 8 of Clubs with the 10 of Hearts is showing a lot of connections to the public. Okay, so 10 of Hearts is where many people gather in general, and Rahu there is just going to make this even more big and strong connections with the 8 of Clubs. Okay, very powerful conventions and seminars and whatever is getting involved in. All right, but that's really going to push his body a lot. He's not young, we have to understand. He's also 78 years old. Okay, and with the 7 of Spade, it's just going to stress the body very strongly. Okay, and Mars is a planet that is also going to show teammates and our surrounding peers. Okay, so his running mate, something can happen around that, either from 2nd of March 2025 to 23rd of April 2025, or from this window of September to November. There could be some conflicts or stress or some form of disagreements that can come because of that. Okay, we see another queen in the picture here, which is Ketu. All right, so some queen can get involved. All right, so this is the media card as well. So media is going to have a lot of focus and attention on him. All right, that will get triggered from 26 September to November window. Also, again, it will get triggered from 2nd of March 2025 to 23rd April 2025, this window. Okay, but in the grand context of things, the ecliptic is very powerful. Why is it powerful? Because this is a 6 of Clubs. Okay, and this is the moon card where the 10th cusp is there. Really nice. Okay, and the Queen of Clubs is in the spread. Queen of Clubs energizes the 6 of Clubs. It's going to back him up. Okay, it's on the Ketu position. Ketu in general is a very powerful card for the 3 of Diamonds people. Okay, so again, remember, it's the third run for his presidency. The 3 of Diamonds clarifies that for us. Okay, so it's the third attempt, And normally, because it's the birth card, it is very powerful attempt for them. Okay, and Mars is the yoga karaka for them. There is no doubt about that, right? So there's very strong connections there. Okay, and the Queen of Clubs is also the ecliptic of the 7-year progression, falling on Ketu. Ketu brings events from the past, and all the connections to his Maga Nakshatra for Ketu. Those things are again getting triggered. Okay, so it's really nice. Then the nice thing, I know we want to talk about the assassination attempt, but because I'm in the flow, I just want to cover the the election date. All right, so we see November, of course, the Queen of Hearts, a lot of spotlight, and it's overlying is a 3 of Hearts and an Ace of Hearts, again with the 4 of Clubs. So if he wins the election, it will be in this window, and there is a powerful Gajikesari Yoga going on. The Mercury and Sun are manifesting, a very nice card of the Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts again really is powerful here. Okay, Ace of Hearts, 3 of Hearts can bring new starts and celebrations. So that's looking very nice. Okay, then the time when he's going to be sworn in, that is Jan 20th usually. Okay, so this card of Jupiter is extremely important. All right, why is this so critical now is because it's in the Jupiter Dasha. All right, then Saturn is in that card. Saturn is neutral. Okay, it's not going to make anything worse for this card. And there is Neptune as well, which is a King of Hearts. Great. Okay, and we have Saturn, a King of Clubs, and a Neptune, King of Hearts, really activating the 10 of Spade, which is fantastic. Okay, super powerful. Why 10 of Spade is so good? 10 of Spade shows, us having success in our work with patience and perseverance. Okay, this is an activity that was ongoing for several years now, right? The election, the campaigns, and the result of that is the 10 of Spade. Okay, so the work and patience that's paying off here in the Jupiter window. It's a great card on Jupiter. Okay, no doubt about this, because Jupiter is, a planet that supports the tens. It's not a bad one. And it's again supported by Saturn because it's a face card. Okay, and again Neptune is there. Neptune does great on Jupiter placements. It's powerfully bolstered, these two kings with the tens. Okay, however, Jupiter as a graha is severely starved. Okay, because he's starved by Mercury, is combust in Shobhita Avastha with the Sun. All right, so this starvation is going to create some issues for him. Okay, so one thing we have to keep in mind with the connection of a starved planet to the Queen of Hearts is that it makes the Queen of Hearts a drama queen. Okay, so there will be some drama around it as usual. So Queen of Hearts is, how, as I told you, we are stable emotionally ourselves, how people see us as an emotionally stable person, how people love us, and, how we are able to support other people emotionally and such. Okay, so Queen of Hearts for a president is his home country always. Okay, so that severe starvation and agitation by the sun can create some issues. Okay, that's what I'm thinking will happen during his presidential swearing in, right? That could run or such. But one thing also we have to note that if Biden drops out, okay, and if there is someone else that might step in for him as a substitute for Biden, that could be a woman here with the Queen of Hearts that is showing up in his spread, because for Trump, this is the time he's going to get the results, and the Queen of Hearts is already active since 5th of August 2024. Why is it active? Because the moon is in the Queen of Hearts, and Queen of Hearts energizes the 6 of Hearts. So there is some woman that's going to play a strong role here for him. It could be his wife, it could be some, other people who are in the Republican Party, even his campaign manager, whatnot, okay? But there is a strong connection to a queen on the path before the swearing in and before the election results, okay? Is it going to be trouble? The Queen of Hearts per se can be mixed because we have mixed avastas here, okay? But the trouble more or less looks to come in the Jupiter window rather than the Mercury window, because Mercury is the ruler of the card, is going to manifest that. Okay, but Jupiter is the one that is struggling. Okay, sometimes we can, note down that in this spread, of course, using some advanced concepts, we can see that Jupiter's card is going to be the trouble or the time when this card can really give some tricky results. So even based on that, I foresee the presidential swearing in time could be the issue. Okay. Then the other interesting thing is, following the 10 of spades, we have a 7 of clubs connection to a 7 of spades. Okay. So this again is a tough window, because these two cards are very tough on Venus. The sevens don't do well on Venus. Mars is going to be passionate. He wants to get things done. He's very, aware of what he wants to do. The goal and the hunger is there to drive, but not necessarily he will do. But that's just, a time of, what you can say, burnout, basically, after so much of stress that has come, right? I mean, I don't think he's going to do anything in this window, the 7 of spades, 7 of clubs. Okay. Then the nice thing about the 10 of spades is that it's a tough card overall. Okay, it's not an easy card in the spread in general. Among the spades, it is one of the difficult spades. But the backing of the sun, who is a 2 of hearts, right? Remember that sun card is extremely important, and the sun as a graha is important this year because it's the year of the 8 of hearts. Okay, and the backing of the 2 of hearts and the 6 of clubs getting activated, along with this cards running into the election being very strong, all the powerful hearts are here. Okay, so all those factors put together, this is going to be a manageable position, the 10 of spade, before the actual window of the presidential swearing in. Okay, it's not going to be that severe is what I feel in this situation here. All right. Okay, so that's the cards and the time when he's running the presidential race, as well as the election and the swearing in ceremony for Donald Trump. Okay, now we have the day of the assassination. Okay, so the assassination attempt happened on 13th of July, right? So this is the window, the 2 of hearts window. You see the 8 of hearts falling there. So it's again an important time for him with respect to the sun. The sun, of course, is going to represent the body, the self, the ascendant for him. Okay, so this is the time when the body is taken into a toll by this assassination, right? And we see connections to tough planets here. You see now why the 10 of spade and 7 of spade make sense, because the sun who rules this card is connected to the 10 of spades. Okay, and the 10 of spade is one really tough, mean card when it comes to health. Right? So because sun and Jupiter are conjunct, the 10 of spade is active in the 2 of hearts window. Then we have the queens active. So queens activate all these 3 planets, which is Jupiter and Venus, right? And Mercury, because they rule these 3 cards. Then because Jupiter rules Saturn, and Saturn's number is 7, the 7 is also active in this window. So that is a stress on the body. The assassination attempt was a 10 of spade, 7 of spade event for him. Okay, so that of course made many people raise the eyebrows. They could not understand how this happened. And that is the 7 of clubs that is getting connected as well. 7 of clubs when we can't cognize whatever has happened on the outside. Okay, so that we can see connection to the Uranus and Mars here, right? So this assassination attempt is in this window. So there was an agenda for that. Okay, and normally when the sun card is that powerful. It's a two of hearts. It can very quickly give results. Okay. And we have to note down that there is an eight of clubs, a fixed card in the spread. So things can escalate very fast. Suddenly things can happen. So these are some advanced things which I will discuss in another video, the indications for all these particular numbers and cards. But there is a possibility for sure. Okay. And the same is true even in the the 7-year progression point of view, because the moon has a connection to the 8th cusp here, and the moon is conjunct the first cusp, which shows the two of spades, the body, and the 8th cusp of aristas and fatalities. There is a conjunction to that. Then moon is conjunct Jupiter, who rules the 6th cusp of accidents, you can see. Then Mars is in the picture, right? Mars is a 6 of spade, tough card. So all those things add into this equation. Okay. So the day of the assassination attempt, it was the 5 of spade on the moon. Okay. And this is a tough card in general for the 3 of diamonds. This is one of the most challenging cards they have to deal with, because it's their Mercury card. And remember what I told about Mercury. Mercury and Mercury card and Saturn card are the two cards that can bring death-like impact for them. It's maracas. Okay. So Maraca card is running on the moon. Okay. And the sun is connected, the ascendant lord, because sun rules the 3 of spade, is in the 5 of spade. These two cards are mean cards also for health. Okay. So 5 of spade, 100% you can be sure it is a card that will bring changes to the body. Most often it will be accidents or surgeries if it is afflicted. Okay. Then it can also create some conflicts and issues. Okay. One thing with Donald Trump, because he gets 5 of spade on Mercury, Mercury shows law and order and litigation, man-made law. He's constantly going to keep fighting. Okay. And with that Saturn Mercury conjunction in the 12th house, law, litigation, legal cases will only bring trouble, and he has to keep fighting always for that. There is no shortcuts around that for him. Okay. So that's also brought in some health concerns. Okay. Why is this just health concern and not any other thing? The surrounding cards will tell that to us, which is the 3 of spade on the sun. Okay. So the 3 of spade on the sun, it's a decent card. Okay. Venus is also there in that. Venus is starved in the sun card. Okay. There is a 2 of diamond Venus card. 2 of diamond connected to the 3 of spades. It shows that he had to maybe relocate and move to another place, right? Basically, before the Pennsylvania rally, he had to move to that Pennsylvania. That movement is the 2 of diamonds connection to Venus. Okay. And then the shooting itself was the 5 of spades, and you can see the moon. The moon is connected to malefic planets. Okay. Moon is connected to Mars, and then Venus is starved, right? And the moon card itself is weak. Okay. Then Jupiter, who rules the number 5, is in severe starvation. Okay. In the Mercury position. So all those things just make it severe for him. Okay. So why did he survive? The luck of survival is there because of all these nice cards here, and most importantly, the 8 of diamonds in the 7-year progression. Okay. That is the main card that has protected this, and the 78th year looks to be promising when it comes to his longevity and health because of support of Jupiter. Okay. Here Jupiter, of course, is starved, as I mentioned. There is less support for Jupiter as a graha, but the card is very powerful. That backs him up. And why this 8 of diamond is so important now? Because the year card is an 8 of hearts. Okay. And that's backing things up. Okay. And then the Rahu card this year is an 8. Okay. Rahu is extremely powerful, right? And number 8 is ruled by Rahu. So those things are also very strong this year. Okay. So those things are nice. And of course, you have to see the chart itself. If you see what happened for him on 13th of July 2024, there is Jupiter on an angle at the exact time of assassination attempt. Okay, so this protects the ascendant. At that time, it's the ascendant lord itself. Saturn is aspecting that. Saturn on an angle is never too bad, okay, if he's in a decent dignity. So that always protects, and Saturn is in the fourth house, that is there. Then we have trinal placements of Venus and Mercury, that helps. Okay, and of course, the Sun is weak in an eighth house placement, that is showing the cause of the problem. Sun always shows the self, it's an Atmakaraka planet. Okay, so the time I think was quite lucky, even though there was a Maraka transit. Arishta was there. Okay, the Dasha Bhukti was strong. All right, and then the cards backing it up are very powerful, especially this Eight of Diamonds, which I really like. When things want to be in your favor, you want those kind of cards to line up. Okay, was it not seen? No, again, you can say it's there. It's very easily seen for us in the card. Seven of spade. There is 10 of spade in the spread. 10 of spade, most importantly, is with Saturn in the connection to the eighth cusp. Okay, this you cannot miss in any kind of longevity or health transits or any other events are showing that you cannot miss this prediction. Okay, this is very certain that it's coming. Seven of spade, already you should really pay attention to that. Okay, see, the seven of spade is connected to the third cusp as well, which is one of the houses that can show, you know, health crisis and health problems, and some sort of attempts on accidents or those kind of things coming up. Okay, so there is certainly an agenda that day that could have happened. You can also see more clearly, if you like, on the day of the event itself. So the day of the event, we are seeing a two of diamonds. Okay, so that's the Venus card that week, and the exact time when this happened was around the Mercury card of that day, and that is an eight of spades. Okay, with the two of diamonds, the ascendant falling there, a starved Jupiter, and most importantly, it's a seven of diamond on Jupiter, which is a death card of Saturn. Okay, with a starved Jupiter, no other backing, you can see there was trouble. Okay, there was something that was going to cause an issue. It's a spade, it's a body problem. Okay, with the four of spade on Saturn and being in the seven of diamond, he was immediately hospitalized. Four of spade shows lack of security to the body on Saturn, and Saturn being in the seven of diamond, Saturn does well in the seven. Okay, seven of diamond is a great card on Jupiter also. Why? Because the loss of something or the death of something is averted. Okay, but Saturn was in a neutral placement, and Jupiter was starved, so there was not a particularly favorable situation. So the attempt at least took place, you can say. Okay, and if again you see the Dasha Lord or the Jupiter on an angle in the transit chart, all those things were not there, then you could have been very different situation or story here, you can say. Okay, and of course you can see the year card falling on Venus, right? And the travel to the convention, that is the eight of spade as well. Okay, eight of spade is being stuck in one place, and the hospitalization is seen with the four of spade, eight of spade. And the threat to the body, the seven of diamonds, right? You'll always feel the loss, that oh my god, this happened, anyone. So that could also be known from this. So the main thing is there is a jack of spade on the sun that day. Okay, and it's a two of diamond date. So the moon card is important, and moon card is quite strong, but the sun is there, a jack of spade. So you see a jack is in the picture, and normally jack of spade can show miscreants and all these people that bring trouble if the card is afflicted. Okay, and sun card has a star planet. Okay, and then moon himself is afflicted by malefics. Okay, which is that Ketu. You could say it was part of the destiny again, right? This kind of an event that is lined up here. And the main thing is the seven of diamonds and the eight of spade, that shows the severe trouble coming year. Okay. So the overall assassination attempt, I think we went through, and we also went through the next upcoming cards for him, which shows the election itself and the swearing in ceremony if it happens. Then I think the Varshafala, I just want to go through that quickly, and that's the 78th year. See the chart. It's that powerful year, okay? So you have the ascendant in Cancer, and the 4 planetary conjunction in the sign of Gemini, okay? Then the Munta is falling in Aquarius, looks to be quite powerful, with Saturn ruling that Munta and conjunct the 10th cusp. On an angle to Saturn, you find 4 planets, okay? Then we have the Varshapati Mercury also connected to the 11th Lord, right? The 11th Rashi Lord from the Ascendant. And Mars, who rules the 10th Rashi, is in the 11th Rashi connection. Then there is a planetary war going on in the sign of Gemini, but Mercury is strong to hold that Rashi. Okay, Jupiter is manifesting, Mercury is there. Okay, and Venus, who rules Mars, the 11th cusp lord, is also connected to the Varshapati year. Okay, so there is, a decent Varshafala overall. Okay, it's not that bad, and the Varshapati Mercury gets 13 points in the Panchavargiya Bala, quite powerful, you can say. And the Munta Lord Saturn is weak, but Saturn is in a neutral dignity, connected to the 10th cusp and in the 9th Rashi from the Ascendant. Not too concerning. Okay. Most importantly, you have Rahu in the 10th from the Ascendant. Okay, and then that is creating a very powerful focus on the 10th house, even though it's conjunct the 11th cusp. Okay, there is a Bandhana Yoga between Rahu Ketu in this chart. Okay, because they are placed on the 4th and the 10th Rashi. And then there is almost a Kala Sarpa Yoga because only Saturn is out of the axis of Rahu and Ketu. So it's a quite powerful year, the 78th year, you can say, taking into these yogas, right? The interesting thing is Jupiter and the moon are creating the Gajakesari yoga, and that is happening between the 3rd cusp and the 3rd Rashi, the 4th cusp and the 12th Rashi. And it's not too bad actually. And this ascendant could be off as well because with that 32 minutes in Cancer, there's a possibility that it can also be the Gemini ascendant. We have the exact time based on my corrections that I've done this, okay? But I have not rectified it to the date or to the exact minute here, okay? Because I don't have exact dates for his life, right? So there could be some impact coming in from that for the 78th year, all right? And if you see the sahams that we calculate based on the Tajika system, the royal dignity or the status Saham is falling in Pisces, where the 10th cusp is there with Saturn. Okay, Sun and Saturn are on angles to each other, which almost always brings power and authority there. Okay, Mercury is manifesting that, and then we have Venus also in the picture. Venus is extremely important planet for the Cancer ascendant because he's the 4th from the Lagna, so that can always activate that. Mars is creating a connection to Venus, is not forming the Raj Yoga, but is forming the 11th Rashi connection. So that's even powerful as well. So from a Varshafala point of view, even though there is that, conflict and Graha Yuddha going on, normally we do not like planets conjunct each other in the Varshafala. There are other factors indicating quite a solid year. Okay, so there is not much trouble, you can say, because the good placement of the moon, the ascendant lord, aspected by benefics, which is Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus, okay, is helping. The sun himself, who is the planet of power and authority, is also supported by the benefic planets. Okay, so all those factors I think is quite supportive in this Varshafala for him. Okay, so that is Donald Trump's chart. Okay, we reviewed quite a lot of details, all right, when it comes to the cards, when it comes to the astrology, and also the assassination attempt. Okay, so next we'll review Joe Biden's chart and see what's really in his cards and also the astrology. Okay,